Paula here with the EQ Institute, and we are here again on our Monday night Facebook Live event. And I'm so excited because we have an amazing guest with us today, Paula. I can never pronounce her last name.
It's Holland De Long.
Holland
De Long. It's a mouthful.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to get into it very soon about what Paula does, and she does some really great work in the world, and we're going to talk with her in a minute. But first, let me introduce who we are as the EQ Institute and our purpose. So who we are is we cultivate emotional health through business development and marketing and emotional intelligence. And so what we do in the world is we serve individuals or business owners, leaders, anyone who is really looking to and is doing amazing work in the world, that is serving the world, really elevating the consciousness through emotional health, but also a lot of the different work that goes on in our industry, whether it's an accountant, whether it's an artist, or just an average individual who's just wanting to do something great to elevate the world to the next level. And so we support them through technical application as well as emotional intelligence, like I said, through live events, trainings, and classes, etc. So anyhow, we every week, every Monday, and thanks to everybody for watching and always supporting us. So every week we come live here on Monday night and we feature someone amazing, and we talk to them about how what they do in the world helps to raise emotional intelligence. And so we know emotional intelligence to be our ability to, aka, recognize our level of crazy and manage it with EQ and the various type of tools that our amazing guests bring out to the world. Okay? So let's start. Let's get to know Paula.
Thank you, Esther. It's so nice to be here, and I am a professional life coach and author and an artist and a all-around connected to my heart and wanting to bring that work into the world kind of person. My company is What's Next for My Life, and that actually came from 20-plus year ago cancer diagnosis, and when I got done with that, my question was what's next for my life, and that became my business because I was actually working a lot with cancer patients then to help them rebuild their lives after cancer. A time which, as you can imagine, when emotional intelligence could be a really good thing. And so I fell into the emotional intelligence kind of organically through my own experience and my own healing journey. And about 6 years ago, I've always been into art. I have a BFA and was very active and very much an artist when I was younger. Kind of lost it a little bit when I was raising my child. And then about 6 years ago, almost 7 now, I had another health crisis, kind of an emotional and physical crisis. And all of my healthcare team, as I was recovering, 3 different people in the space of a week said, you have to find something to do that feeds you, that lights you up and makes you happy, and that you will do consistently. And I went back to my college days and decided on watercolor painting.
Nice.
And so that was like a rebirth for me of, oh my God, I am an artist. And I was in a therapy group at that time, and we were doing a process called soul collage.
Nice.
And it's a collage process. This is actually a sample of one of the cards.
Nice.
But it's a healing process in which you intuitively, you browse a great big library of images, and you find the ones that resonate with you. And then you create a card like this, and then the card gives you guidance. And what I found that to be for me was like this open door to all this stuff that I've been carrying around all my life, the negative patterns that I had, the crazy beliefs that helped make me sick. And doing this collage process, it was just like, wow, that's really deep. What just came out of that card is really deep. I had no idea I was carrying that around, but Like here's this release of something that had been making me crazy for probably 40 years.
Yeah.
And so I did it for several years, and the leader of the group, she looked at me one day and she said, you need to be leading this and facilitating this.
Nice.
This is called for you. And
Yeah.
by the way, I'm cleaning out my image library. Would you like me to get you started?
Right.
And so that's kind of how I got into it. And what I realized really quickly was that if I wasn't engaging in something creative, whether it was painting or collage or even playing with crayons and markers, my stress and my negative, quote-unquote, negative emotions would start to run rampant. And I would get that voice going around in my head telling me that I wasn't good enough or blah, 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 blah. And because I'm a human being and wasn't as emotionally aware as I am now, I bought into it.
Yeah.
And so the time then when I would step back into painting or to doing something creative, even if it was gardening or deciding on new curtains, but that was where I started to really start to feel back alive and to kind of feel like I was healing in a deeper way. And I have to tell you, the collage process probably saved me 3 to 5 years of therapy, just because it was like this gentle, easy awakening.
Yes.
And as you know, once you start to become aware of your emotions and you can take that breath moment to pause and say, okay, what's really happening here? That became a major part of my healing. Because, well, I'll just say it, I have PTSD. And it was insane for the first 2 or 3 years, because I would just watch myself get triggered, act crazy, hate that it was happening. But with PTSD, it can take up to 72 hours for the brain chemistry to reset. So what the creative process does, the art, the crayons, the collage, it can be anything creative. It doesn't have to be art. But that is what actually starts to allow you to breathe, to make the pause, to choose a different emotional response, and to actually reprogram the brain neural pathways.
Yes.
And I will tell you, I am a living example of the success of this process, because for several years I couldn't function in life. I didn't work.
Yeah.
All I did was just struggle to try and get back to an even keel.
Yeah.
And so, but it wasn't for me, it wasn't even just the benefit of being emotionally able to manage my emotions, but I've literally experienced the reprogramming.
Right.
Where things that 5 years ago, 6 months ago, 2 years ago, they would trigger me, and it might take me a day or two or more to reset and come back into my life in the way that I like myself. And now it can happen in hours or minutes.
Exactly.
And so that got my attention.
Yeah.
And then I was like, wow, women like me, over 50, kind of have spent most of their life taking care of other people or making other people successful.
Right.
And now we've kind of reached the point where the demands maybe aren't so much, and we're like, oh, wait a minute, who am I, or what have I been doing this whole lifetime? And what I see a lot of my clients, because I do specialize in working with mature women, usually over 50, is that we know that there's something missing inside us, and we want to feel better, but we have absolutely no idea how to do it, because our entire lives have been spent putting other people first, helping other people do what they need to have done. And oftentimes when we start to think about, hey, it's my turn now, I deserve that same level of caring and concern, commitment, and then our crazy saboteur voices start coming up going, that's crazy, that's selfish, that's wrong, you can't do it. Or, well, yeah, you want to feel better, but you don't know what you want to do. How do you know who you are?
Right.
And that kind of comes back to the art stuff, because when you start to play with crayons and collage and different things, your heart energy is starting to come through with what resonates with you and what lights you up. Mm-hmm. And I can't tell you, and I'm sure you may have experienced this too with your clients, you say, so what do you want?
Right.
And they'll start talking about what they should have or what society thinks that they should have, but they're coming from their head, and they're not really getting to that place of, this is who I am, this is what I stand for, this is what feeds me, this is how I say no and set boundaries, and all of these things that most of us, especially many of women my age, don't necessarily have those skills. So they get locked in what used to make me crazy, still does occasionally, but what I call procrastination paralysis, where you have good intentions. And so tomorrow I am going to start eating healthier and exercise. And you get up in the morning and you eat your healthy breakfast, and you're getting ready to pack your lunch to head off to work, and the kids go crazy and there's an emergency that comes up, so you, all right, well, I did good this morning and I'll take that healthy lunch tomorrow. You know, and then the next morning comes and you don't even get the healthy breakfast, but you're like, okay, I'm going to go have a salad for lunch. And the boss calls a meeting and you end up with no time, so you grab crackers out of the vending machine and you get home like, I didn't do it again today. And then you start to kind of make yourself wrong because you didn't do it. And it's, I'll do it tomorrow. And then by the end of a couple days of not being perfect in what we set for us, we end up in this cycle of, I should do it, I didn't do it, I'm an awful person for not doing it. And that procrastination paralysis can go on for years, months, days, but I mean, in my case, it went on years of my life, all because I didn't understand that my emotions were driving me away from what I wanted to do. It's so unconscious in the beginning that, and I think that you probably experience that with your clients sometimes when you start talking to them, and they're all about, this is what I need to do, and this is the time frame I need to do it in, and you're like, but there's a missing piece here, and the missing piece is, who are you? What is this bringing to you? And what do you get from it? And for mature women like me, what do I get from it? That's really sometimes an alien concept. It's like, what do you mean? It gets to be about me? But wait, so-and-so needs this, so-and-so needs this, so-and-so needs this. I've always spent my time taking care of others. And maybe I'm starting to resent it a little bit. Start to think about, hey, I'm in this last stage of my life, and I'm not ready to just sit down and wait, for life to either come rescue me or to pretend that this is all there is. And so emotional intelligence to me is like this freedom tool that once you start to access it and use it, everything changes in your life.
Well, it's interesting what you're saying because, and again, thank you everybody for watching and joining us tonight. We're speaking about art and how that can help raise our emotional intelligence, and Paula is teaching us about some of the things that she brings into the world and how she's helping many people recognize they're crazy through art. So stay with us. Thank you for joining. So one of the things that you had mentioned, about how this whole thing is about emotions and figuring out what you want and what you don't want and all these different things. It's interesting because you reminded me of my awareness diet, which is part of my curriculum. And I created this awareness diet, step-by-step process of something that I went through, along with 57 other modalities that I had gathered over the past 2 decades, right? So, that awareness diet, the first step in any moment of changing a behavior is decision. Is decision. And so I've been through many workshops, many modalities in my 20 years and in my process, and it led me back to decision. So on my awareness diet, the number one step for changing behavior and for achieving, different results, good or bad, but a different result, came from making a decision. And the minute I made the decision, the second step, which is interesting that you say this, is that it's called holistic. Being holistic, which means stopping and getting present. And that holistic means it could be anything. It could be listening to music, it could be taking a walk, it could be playing with a pet, it could be sharing with someone. It could just be anything that brings you back to presence. Right?
I totally agree.
So that then the next step brings us to action. And action, we then know, because now we get an intuitive download, right? Of what to do next. Right? And then after that, the last step, and I'm giving this away for free, guys, because you would have to pay for this, is gratitude.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Making sure that we are in gratitude for the challenge, or the, I call it the crazy, or the mishigas, right? That's coming to us.
Yeah.
Because life is a learning process,
It
right?
is.
We're spiritual beings. We are here to learn lessons.
Yes, absolutely.
So, yeah, so, everything you're saying is pretty amazing.
Well, and I think that one of the things you said really resonated with me is that presence.
Yes.
Because that is where it all starts.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, one of the things that I love about playing with the crayons, the collage, watercolor, whatever it is that I'm doing or I'm helping other people do, is it immediately creates presence.
Right.
Yesterday I had a gathering at my home of 8, I guess there were 9 of us women, and we were playing with the wisdom cards, the collage cards. And in the beginning, I asked them each to pick a card and introduce themselves in the context of it. And before they looked at their cards, I could just see the and I said, okay, how many people here? How many people here are really nervous? They're really uncomfortable with what's happening, and But at the end, I mean, within minutes, there was one lady in particular. She was just like, I don't know about this. And by the time we got to the second one, she was like volunteering to go first.
Right. Well, it's so fascinating to me that people forget to just be playful in their adulthood, because life is so heavy, right? Life gets so challenging, and you're dealing with so many things, and you have to be a grown-up now, right?
Yes.
So you have to deal with all these things, but the truth is, and something that Mario and I try to keep alive, and it's hard sometimes, it's just being silly. It's just, we have voices that we do. I'm known as Tinkerbell.
I like that.
I always, I bring out Tinkerbell sometimes.
Yeah.
And, we just goof off, and he brings out his voices, and, you need that humor, you need that lightness, and that's another component of EQ, right?
Absolutely.
You need to keep that that innocence, that usefulness, that playfulness in our adulthood to get through these challenges.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you're just going to be this grouchy old person when you're not that old.
Yes, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
I mean, I've met people that are my age. I'm 45. Can't believe I'm 45, but it's really just a number.
It is.
But when I think about it, I'm like, 45 means I should be acting this way or that way. But really, no, you don't.
No, I mean, I tell you, I feel younger now than I ever have in my entire life, and I have to share this with you now because it's so timely. But I do have a free gift for people after the show, and it is actually called 21 Wild-Hearted Creative Ways to Reduce Stress and Build Energy. And you will find all kinds of silly, funny things that will immediately, like you said, bring that presence back, get you out of the and into the let's do a happy dance.
So let's think about this. So it's a packet that you're
It's an
giving away?
ebook. It's an ebook. And if you go to the Paula Holland De Long, DE space LONG Facebook page, my business page, pinned to the very top will be the link to download this gift.
Okay. I will post it
Afterwards,
on our comments.
Yeah. And I didn't want to go off track, but I just thought it was so timely because I felt the same way. It's like, you know what? And my clients, they come to me and they're like, why so serious? And I did like a interest survey. The number one thing that we wanted more of was play, fun, laughter, and I mean, you have to do the silly childlike things.
Absolutely.
And I tell people, if you pick this up and you look at it and go, oh my God, this just sounds kind of silly and crazy. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to. It works.
Yes.
And I think that's another part of emotional intelligence first of all, there's the emotional intelligence of recognizing when you need the break.
Right.
But then there's also just giving yourself, like you said, the permission to just be silly.
Right.
And it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't
Yes.
have to mean anything. Sometimes you just have to be silly. I mean, one of my favorite silly things I do is I dance with my dog regularly.
Nice.
You know, it's like I need a 3-minute break. Turn up
Nice.
Pandora and come here, girl. You know.
Nice.
And the same thing happens with crayons. You know, I do lots of groups with crayons, and
Let me ask you something. Is there something, I know you were saying groups, so finish your thought, and then I'm going to ask you something about what people can do at home. You know, if they can't reach out to you, if they can't, whatever, circumstances, but what people can do at home to apply some of these modalities that you have.
I would love to talk about that. And in fact, let's just go ahead and go there right now, because you know, most of us don't really think about, you know, what can I do with art? The little, well, I'm not creative enough, or I don't do, but you don't know how to do it. And I have to tell you, this is becoming so popular. Coloring is one of the absolute most positive things. And you know, I'm not a huge fan of the coloring books right now, because I think they're like way too detailed and constrictive. Like every single little spaces already done for you to color in. The ones that I create and share with people are a little more open. For example, this is one of my favorites.
They have some really great coloring books, right? In Whole Foods.
They do, and I think that.
But I love this. This is so
this
lovely.
is really what I do with this, and you can kind of see it. It's a heart with some different pieces in it, and I ask people to color in the different pieces. And then I ask them to name them. And for example, this one happens to have a lonely piece, a playful piece, a climbing piece, a confused piece, and a spiritual piece.
Okay.
And we all have different areas of our heart that operate differently. So once you decorate them and name them, and you look at it all together, I mean, look at this. This is kind of pretty, isn't it?
Cool.
Looks like art.
Yes.
And the confused parts of me and the lonely parts of me just become part of the tapestry of who we are.
Right.
And I think that if you're a person who is kind of feeling called to do something creative or especially artistic, if you can just shut down the voice in your head that says, I'm not good enough, I'm not creative, I don't know what to do, and just to start to play with crayons or magic markers, what I usually start people off with is the basic scribbling. Just take out the colors and scribble to your heart's content. This is really fun, I do this sometimes. I blindfold people, and I put the crayons in front of them, and then just have them color. And then we look at it together and see that this color symbolism, the way the colors relate together. But what I can guarantee you every single time is that the minute you sit down and pick up a crayon, and I brought you a pack of crayons to leave with you, by the way.
Thank you.
It just shuts down. The busy brain just shuts down.
So would you say that's a good practice for, let's say, after work?
Yes.
You know, like if you're stressed out, you had a really busy day, and you're just like,
even if you just set a timer for 5 minutes, and you take out markers or crayons or something, and move your hand with them, I mean, it immediately shifts the brain into the present space, the heart-based space, and you're literally reprogramming yourself away from stress and anxiety.
Yes.
And it's cumulative,
right?
But it works in the moment as well.
Yeah. And I would think that you could probably do this with your family. Like,
yes.
You know how sometimes, you know, my family, we're a bunch of characters, and, you know, we're Russian.
Yes.
And so now, because we live in the States, we've become much more, well, my sister and I were different because we were pretty much raised here. She was born here, I was born in Russia, but in Ukraine, but I've pretty much now been here my whole life. So, but my parents have just become somewhat open to, let's say, discussing feelings or blah, 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 you know? So sometimes I go, you know, both my sister and I, how come we can't do stuff like American families? You know, play a game or, you play cards or whatever. This seems like it would be a fun thing to do together.
It really is, and
Do you do that? Do you actually get together with families? Is that something you would be open to doing?
I would be very much open to doing that. Unfortunately, my family's not nearby, but my husband and I do engage in art things together.
Okay.
Sometimes.
But I mean, would you facilitate a family?
Oh,
if someone hired you
yes.
to do
Oh,
that?
absolutely. And I can tell you that it wouldn't just only be about the coloring,
Right.
but it's going to be what those subconscious choices that you made mean,
Right.
and what they open up for you to know about yourself, and the
Yes.
people who love you to know
Yes.
about yourself
Yes.
as well.
Because I could see how, you're sitting in this space
Yep.
and you're facilitating this process, and all of a sudden conversations start happening. I'd rather you do this, and it kind of hurts my feelings when you do that. And as you're drawing, stuff starts to come out.
Yes.
But it comes out in a healing way,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
So I could see that, and that's all part of EQ. I mean, that gives us space to
Yes.
healing those emotions
Yes.
and those generational gaps
Right.
and baggages.
Yeah. Yes, because stuff comes out that wouldn't if you were
Right.
just sitting at the dinner table having
Right.
a conversation.
Right.
And you're right, it is. It's gentler,
Yes.
it's easier, and it's not as personal.
Right.
I mean, it's yes, yeah, that's a great idea. I'm so glad you thought of
I
that.
know. You know why I say this? Because yesterday I had my class, create your ideal success
Yep.
with emotional intelligence, aka recognize your level of crazy with EQ. And one of the things that came to me was, if anybody wants to have a party at their home,
Yep.
and they don't want just another, excuse my French, a stripper or some other mundane, silly party,
Yep.
but they want something with meaning. They want something that's going to bring something interesting and profound to their gathering.
Yes.
They could have me come over and we could do this whole EQ thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or they could invite you over.
Absolutely.
And you could do something really special. I think that's really what's happening now. Is there's so much healing
Yeah.
that needs to happen, and we as the facilitators and the practitioners of this really need to step into these new and creative ways
Yes.
of doing it, right?
Yeah.
Bringing this out into the world. So guys,
Yeah.
if anybody wants to do something new and interesting, contact either myself or Paula
Absolutely.
about, I could do the EQ, Paula can do the art.
Yeah.
We've even thought about maybe doing something together.
Yep.
So I want to give away, I want to help you give away your gift. I'm so excited for you.
Yes.
So look, guys, we have a couple more minutes here, and if you have any questions, please, type it into the comments, and Paula will be happy to
Yes,
answer
absolutely.
about anything that you have about what she's up to and how she can help you reduce stress in your life. And create presence,
Yes.
and create more consciousness and awareness to raise your EQ. In the meantime, anybody's interested in this free gift of hers, I'm going to snag it if you guys don't. So if anybody wants to, the first person to reach out and say, me, you can type that in, me, and we'll make sure that you get it, okay?
Absolutely.
So we usually do the positive news on Monday nights, but I don't have time nowadays to look it up. So have you heard of any positive news?
I am so a not news person.
That's why we do the positive news.
Yes. So
You're not aware
I'm
right
only
now?
aware
Okay.
of positive things in my world.
Okay. Well, share something with us about a positive something.
Well, this is a good example maybe of emotional intelligence, but I have somebody that I really like and respect, and we've been talking about collaborating for a while, and we were off over the summer. We came back in end of last week, and we talked about what we were going to do, and over the weekend we were meeting again today. I was just like, you know what, that's not going to work for me. And I will tell you that the pre-emotionally intelligent Paula would have stuck to what she said she was going to do for however long it took, being uncomfortable and not thrilled the whole time. But the emotional intelligence Paula said, hey, collaborative person, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I really need in this situation. How can we make this work? And we came up with this amazing idea for a workshop that we're going to be having in January. And it was just turned into this whole win-win thing. But it only was able to happen because I learned to recognize when my emotions were poking me, telling me, whoops, something's off, here, pay attention. And then I had to kind of do the shut down the voices who told me, well, you have to do it. You said you would do it. You can't go back and tell her you want to do something. How tacky and rude is that? You know, as it turns out, we're both happier with what we both created. So for me, the good news is speaking up gets you what you want. And it's not that hard when you give yourself permission to do it. But it's taken me many years to get to that point. So that was really good news for me. What else? Well, we should comment on the fact that here in South Florida, it's actually been decent outside, and we're not sweating to death.
Yes, the weather has been amazing.
Moving into the happy time of year here in South Florida. You guys can be jealous. We don't mind.
Yes. So, guys, we're giving away a free gift. Paula is giving away one of her beautiful, what is this called?
This is actually a gift that anybody can get. It is 21 wild-hearted, creative ways to reduce stress and boost energy fast.
Wow.
And if you go to my Facebook page, it's Paula Holland, Holland, De Long, DE space LONG, on my business page, and you'll see this montage of photos with me with my hand out like this. You'll know you're at the right page. I have pinned the link for this ebook to the top. So you should be able to just go there, click the link, and it will download for you.
Okay.
And
so you hear that? Everybody's open to go and get this gift.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
And then you're going to post the link to it later, and just.
Yes.
I would love to hear what people think. I've gotten some really fun feedback from people who I never really thought I could do a happy dance, but it's fun, type of stuff. But it's all stuff you can do in seconds or minutes.
Great.
And it's totally intended to create the presence. And once you get present, then the stress goes down. The happy goes up. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, so this has been really, really great.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes, and thank you so much. And again, I'm going to post the link for you. Do you have, tell me.
I was just going to say, if you want to know more about me, you can also go to my website, which is what's next for FOR, mylife.com.
Yes, and we'll post that too.
Because there's some excellent info there as well.
Great.
But I guess what I would just want to say to everybody is take out the crayons, step out of your adult self into your childlike, and recognize that there's a creative spark in all of us.
Yes.
And if you don't have it lit right now, it's time.
That's right.
It's really
That's
time.
right.
And,
That's right.
and I can help you with that.
That's
Esther
right.
can help you with that too.
Yes.
But don't wait. There's no reason to wait. If not now, when? That's my motto.
Not now, when. Be that kid again.
Yes.
Don't be scared to be silly and goofy
That's
and
right.
color.
That's right. I like myself so much more since I've learned to be silly and goofy.
Right?
It's just...
So much
She's
more
way
fun.
more fun than only
So
business,
much fun.
sober, thoughtful, professional Paula.
Right. I agree with you. So, do you have any events coming up this week, or
I don't have any. I do. I have a soul collage / wisdom card workshop on Sunday, October 6th.
Okay.
It's actually one of the things you mentioned where a friend came to one and said, oh, I want to do this with my friends.
Right.
So we're having it at her house, and anybody who wants to know more about it, I'll be posting some info on Facebook about it. You can also reach out to me at 954-663-7834. This is a South Florida event, so if you're not here, sorry. And then I will also be having another solstice gathering in December, but I am going to be launching several online expressive arts programs in January. One with crayons and one with collage. So follow me on Facebook and you'll hear about it.
Yeah, so we're going to post all the information for you guys. Again, if you want Paula's free gift, you can go to the site. We're going to post all of that. And just a reminder, everybody, that we are not going to be online next week. It's Rosh Hashanah. And, you know, for all of our Jewish friends, you know, we wish you a wonderful holiday. And also, you know, keep in mind that this is an opportunity. It's a cosmic event. It's not just for, you know, I study a lot of spiritual modalities, and I am Jewish, but I do follow spiritually. And so this is a cosmic window for all of us to take advantage of. So, you know, practice, novelty, and nutrition. That is the biggest way to change our behavior and step into new behavior, step into a new version of ourselves, raise our emotional intelligence, raise our EQ, and create some amazing results in the upcoming year, right? It's new thought, new action, new results, okay?
And new ways to feel better and like yourself.
That's right.
It's just
That's
very
right.
powerful. Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely.
This is fun.
Absolutely. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. And as always, let's do our quote. If you know it, come with me. If not, it's okay.
Yeah.
So, as always, remember, the more when you know and understand yourself, the more the world will know and understand you too. And remember, what's the best that can happen?
I like that.
Okay,
yes.
guys.
I'll take that best. Bye, everybody.
All right. Talk to you soon. And you can always watch the replay.
Yes.
Good night, everybody.